Are you ready for some big news that could change the way you think about your upcoming Social Security benefits? This is not just another routine update. Seniors, disabled individuals, and millions of Americans who rely on SSA, SSI, and SSDI payments have something new to pay attention to, because a brand new payment date has been confirmed, and on top of that, a raise is included for 2025. Yes, you heard that right. There's not only clarity about when the money will arrive, but also encouraging news about higher payments going forward. Stay with me because this September 15th alert is going to be one of the most important updates you'll hear about your benefits this year. And by the end of this video you'll understand exactly what this means for you and your family. For many seniors and beneficiaries across the country, the monthly Social Security check is more than just money in the bank. It's a lifeline that helps cover rent, groceries, medication, and essential bills. When payment dates change or when new increases are announced, it creates both excitement and confusion. People want to know if they will receive their payment earlier, whether the increase will actually show up in their bank accounts, and what kind of impact it will have on their daily lives. That's why today's news is so critical, because we now know that September 15th is the date to watch, and it's tied directly to the upcoming Social Security increase for 2025. This September 15th confirmation is not just a random adjustment on the calendar. It is part of a broader effort by the Social Security Administration to keep payments consistent, reliable, and aligned with the new changes that will be introduced in 2025. Payment schedules are the backbone of financial planning for beneficiaries. Seniors plan their grocery trips, bill payments, and even medical visits around these checks. Families who care for disabled relatives rely on this income to keep everything in balance. So, when the SSA steps in and confirms that September 15th is the day, it sends a message of stability and assurance. The raise itself is tied to something called COLA, which stands for Cost of Living Adjustment. Every year, the government calculates this adjustment based on inflation rates and the Consumer Price Index. If costs of living rise, so do Social Security benefits. The COLA is designed to protect retirees and disabled individuals from losing purchasing power in times of economic hardship. In recent years, inflation has been hitting households hard, with higher prices for food, gas, rent, and healthcare. This upcoming raise in 2025 reflects the government's recognition of those struggles and their attempt to provide some relief. For someone living on a fixed income, even a modest increase can make a real difference. Let's say you receive $1,500 a month in benefits, and the raise increases that by $50 or $75. That amount might not sound huge on paper, but when you add it up across an entire year, it becomes hundreds of extra dollars in your pocket. That's money that can go toward prescription copays, electricity bills, or simply easing the pressure of everyday expenses. For seniors who have been budgeting down to the last penny, this increase is more than just numbers. It's about dignity, security, and peace of mind. The timing of the September 15th payment is also meaningful. Instead of waiting for an uncertain date or being caught off guard by delays, beneficiaries now have a clear marker to rely on. Imagine being an elderly couple sitting down with your bills in early September. You know that on the 15th, the check will arrive, and with it comes the reassurance that the system is still working for you. This kind of certainty is invaluable, especially for those who have experienced late deposits or miscommunication in the past. Another thing to remember is that Social Security is not a one-size-fits-all program. There are different categories of beneficiaries: retirees who draw from SSA after decades of work, disabled individuals who depend on SSDI because they cannot work, and low-income seniors and individuals who qualify for SSI. Each of these groups has slightly different eligibility rules and payment structures, but what unites them is the reliance on a steady monthly benefit. The good news here is that all of these groups are positioned to benefit from the raise coming in 2025, and the September 15th date helps to ensure smoother distribution. Let's take a closer look at what this raise means for different groups. For retirees, this increase ensures that their hard-earned benefits keep pace with inflation. They worked for decades, paid into the system, and now the government is making sure their retirement income doesn't fall behind as the cost of everything else rises. For SSDI recipients, the raise acknowledges the additional financial challenges that come with living with a disability, where medical bills, specialized equipment, and healthcare costs often take up a huge share of their income. For SSI recipients, who are among the most financially vulnerable, even the smallest increase represents a lifeline. It could mean the difference between being able to afford both food and utilities in the same month, rather than choosing between the two. There's also a psychological impact of this raise and confirmed payment date. Financial insecurity is one of the biggest stressors facing seniors and disabled Americans today. Not knowing when the money will arrive or whether it will be enough to cover basic needs creates constant anxiety. With the September 15th date confirmed and the raise on the horizon, that stress is eased, even if just a little. Knowing that you can rely on your benefits allows you to focus on living your life instead of worrying about survival. Of course, some people may argue that the raise isn't enough, that inflation outpaces these adjustments, and that seniors deserve even more. There is truth to this criticism, because many households still struggle even after increases. But we cannot ignore the fact that every adjustment is a step forward. It is the government's way of saying that beneficiaries are not forgotten, that their needs are being acknowledged, and that there is an effort to provide at least some relief. In times when prices are rising across the board, even small steps matter. Now, let's consider how this news plays out in real households. Picture a widow in her 70s who depends entirely on her monthly check. She spends most of her income on rent and prescriptions. She cuts coupons, shops carefully, and avoids unnecessary expenses. For her, the September 15th payment date means she can schedule her pharmacy trip with certainty, knowing the funds will be in her account. And when the raise arrives in 2025, it may mean she no longer has to skip meals to afford her medicine. That is the human side of these announcements. It's not just numbers or policies, it's people's lives. Think of a middle-aged man on SSDI due to a serious health condition. His wife works part-time to help support their household, but the SSDI check is their main source of stability. When they hear that a raise is coming and that payments are scheduled for September 15th, they feel a weight lifted. They can now plan their bills with more confidence, budget for the month ahead, and even think about saving a small amount for emergencies. These stories play out in millions of households across America, and that is why this September 15th alert matters so much. It's also worth pointing out that these adjustments and announcements highlight the importance of staying informed. There's often a lot of misinformation around Social Security. Rumors spread quickly on social media, with some people claiming payments are delayed or that raises won't actually happen. That's why it is so important to rely on confirmed information like this. The SSA has clearly stated that September 15th is the date, and the raise for 2025 is real. Beneficiaries can take comfort in that, instead of being swayed by speculation. The economic backdrop to all of this also deserves attention. Inflation has been one of the most pressing issues facing families in recent years. Prices for food, housing, transportation, and healthcare have all gone up. For seniors living on fixed incomes, this has been especially tough. The Social Security raise is an attempt to balance the scales, to make sure that those who rely most heavily on these benefits don't fall further behind. It may not solve every problem, but it represents recognition of the struggles people are facing. As we move closer to September 15th, beneficiaries should keep an eye on their bank accounts or direct deposit notifications. The funds should arrive on time, and this will be a key indicator of the smooth functioning of the system as we transition into the 2025 increase. Seniors should also consider this a reminder to plan ahead, to think about how they will budget with the extra funds, and to stay alert for official updates. The bottom line is simple: September 15th is a date to remember, and the Social Security increase for 2025 is something to look forward to. Whether you receive SSA retirement benefits, SSI, or SSDI, this change affects you. It's not just about the money, it's about stability, security, and reassurance that the system is still working to support you. So, to everyone watching right now, mark your calendars and take this alert seriously. Your benefits are not just numbers on a page, they are your livelihood, your independence, and your safety net. With September 15th confirmed as the payment date and the raise included for 2025, you can move forward with a little more confidence, a little more peace of mind, and a lot more hope for the months ahead.